training, day 6, and we'll be looking at power pivots. So, who is excited? Today is the last day we'll be talking about Excel in this bootcamp. Who is excited? Today is the last day we'll be talking about Microsoft Excel in this bootcamp. Just to confirm, can we see my screen? Can we see my screen? If you can see my screen, yes, yes, in the charts. If you can see my screen, yes, 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 in the charts. Okay, okay, okay. All right, all right. Thank you for the feedback. All right, before we move to what we have today, yeah, we'll be looking into Power Pivot today. So because we talked about pivot table in the last session, so we'll be looking at Power Pivots and we'll be looking at what Power Pivot can actually do. So before then, I just want, yeah, 1 or 2% just to give us feedback on how the bootcamp has been for us in general. So we started the bootcamp in February and now we are in March. So how has the bootcamp been for us? So this is the 6th session. How has the bootcamp been? Yeah, I'm only showing Microsoft Excel. Yes, 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 that's my screen. Anyone want to give us feedback? Just 1 or 2 persons, you can just raise your hand and I unmute your mic and you just generally, how has the bootcamp been for you? I wish I to talk. Okay, I can see Deborah hand up. Okay. Hi, Deborah.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Pelumi.
Good morning.
Yeah, uh, so as for the training is really good, very educative. I'm really enjoying it. It opened our you guys taught us what we don't know before, and your
Okay.
teaching, you take time in teaching us. You don't rush. Whenever we ask you a question, you don't see it as our life is too much. You take your time, you go back, you re-explain it again, you make sure
Mm,
we understand. And also the
interesting.
assignments and the tables, the document you guys do send to us to work on our own, that alone, like, is very, very good. Like, I'm really, really enjoying the training, sir. You guys should keep it up.
Wow, wow, interesting. Thank you very much, Deborah. So, any challenge so far
Okay.
from your hand? Any challenge?
Not really, but I'm still having challenge on if and I think and those are the only two challenges that I'm having for now.
If and to combine with it and. Okay.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
Okay. I'll just note that down. All right. Thank you very much for that. Really appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
So I will just okay, Kirabo, you can go next.
Okay, good afternoon, sir, and good afternoon, everyone in class. For me, the boot camp has been going on very well. Everything is interesting, especially Power Query and Power Pivot. The classes have been interesting, and I'm looking forward to the next
All right.
item on the schedule.
All right. Thank you, Kirabo. Any challenge so far for you from you?
Yeah, for sure. The second day was a bit challenging. I still have challenges with the if and date functions. I don't know if we can maybe get some help for those of us who are lagging behind.
Okay. All right. I can see 2 people already mentioned that they have issue with if. All right. All right. That is noted. Thank you for the feedback. So let me just take this last person, Amma. So I will move into the session.
Yeah, good morning.
Good
Really appreciate
morning.
you for the classes. It has been a very interesting one. I have challenges with the Power Query
Power
in terms
query.
of, yes, in a situation whereby we want to split. I don't know if you can split a text in Power Query, or we just have to do it right from the Excel before transforming it into the Power Query. And also, when we were teaching us the unwanted characters, the one you taught us, everything was in the same place. So it was easy for us to like eliminate everything. But in a case where there are different, like the sequence, like the unwanted characters are not in the same sequence, I don't
Mhm.
know how to go about that.
Okay, for
I,
the
I hope you
split,
understand.
yeah, I get that. For the split aspects, you can split text in Power Query. But what I just want us to know is that, yeah, we can teach you all these things, but let me say, the major work rely on us. Yes, rely on you people. Not with the trainer, because we can't teach you everything in class, and that's just it. And the last question you asked, that how can you split unwanted, all those unwanted characters that are not in the same. Yeah, this
Yes.
something you can take upon yourself. Go to YouTube, check about how you can go about that. There is a way. Yes, there is a way out of it. So, but it will require you probably using the advanced editor, that's the M language, but there is a way to do that. So you can just go to YouTube to check how you can do that, because trust me, we can't take everything in the class, because this is just foundation. So whatever you are faced with issue, YouTube is our friend, Google is our friend. So probably after you've done all those things, you've done your research and you could not find answer, that's when you can now come back. Oh, I've done this and this and this, but could not find answers to my questions. So I believe let's cultivate the habit of looking for solutions for ourselves. Yeah, because when you start working in the data space, you will not come to us to, oh, my supervisor give me this, my supervisor give me that, and your supervisor may not care about how you go about it. So just for you to get the work done. So let's do well to take it upon ourselves to always look for solutions to whatever problem we encounter. I know it is not something easy, but with time you get used to it. For those facing issue with Eve and the likes, something you can go to YouTube. Yeah, you'll find a whole lot of videos on Eve, and I bet me if you watch like 5 videos, you will get, yeah, you get to know about how to use if and all the conditional functions. So that's just it. So, but probably I'm not promising us, yeah, because I still need to get back to the team. If there is a way, we can just do a general review session of Excel, but I'm not promising us that. So thank you everyone for the feedback. We really appreciate that. So let's move on to what we have for today. Yeah, in the last session we talked about pivot table. Can anyone just remind me of what we talked about in the pivot table? Anybody? We look at the definition and some limitations. Who can just let's just do a recap of what we talked in the last session. Let's just do a recap of what we talked in the last session. So if you want to answer my question, you can raise your hand. You can raise your hand. As usual, I always want my class to be interactive. So please, let's do well to engage ourselves. So in the last session, I said we looked at pivot table. So what do we understand by, or are we telling me we don't understand what I taught us in the last session? Is that what we are saying? Okay, I can see someone that want to rescue me. Ogundeji Oluwafemi. Hi Oluwafemi.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, very clearly.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning so much. I really appreciate this opportunity. I must say, I must commend your effort so far. It has been a very great one. So, about the last class, we talked about pivot table. I just have the summarizing fraction of it. We
Okay.
said pivot table is about reporting and
Mm-hmm.
summarizing data.
Mm-hmm.
Reporting and summarizing data. And from there, you talked about report, talked about data sheet, control sheet, and report sheet.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, we talked about bucket. So there are
Mm-hmm.
four buckets in a pivot table. We talked about filters, talked about rows, columns, and values. So now we lay our hands on some data whereby we actually make use of how to use pivot table to determine the top 10 values
Mm-hmm.
and to go about the bottom 10 too. So it has some different drop down there that we can actually play around with. So,
Interesting.
and we talked
Go on.
about the line charts too. Talked about the line charts. We said it's basically about time, how to use line chart, that is a product analysis. So talked about time, and column chart is an item not more than 10. You can use column chart with an item not more than 10. And we talked about the functions on how to go about how to navigate or how to pump up a chart using Alt F1, and we also talked about that some PC that doesn't bring out the chart if you are using all these numbering or uh, PC like that keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
press pen plus Alt plus F1
Mm-hmm.
in out. So, and
Mm-hmm.
talk about pie charts, like three items, gender or male or female or something like examples like that. And
Mm-hmm.
lastly, from my own view, we talked about slicers.
Mm-hmm.
So how to go about using slicers to affect both charts. That is a report connection. So
Interesting.
from
Yeah.
my own view, from my own side, so I think that is all I can say about what we had last class.
Thank you, thank you. Let's appreciate Oluwafemi. He actually gave us from the beginning to the end of what was taught in the last session, and that was interesting. Just saying everything, yeah, of it. Thank you very much for that. So, just very quickly, a quick question: do we have any issue with pivot table? Any issue on what was covered last week? On what was covered last week? Because we need to have better understanding of pivot table before you look into power pivot. Anybody? Okay. So I will just take this one person. Sorry. So I below very quickly. You have the mic.
Okay, yeah, good morning.
Good
Like
morning.
other speakers said, I would really like to commend you guys' efforts on the class and all of that. It has actually been an interesting one, and I've been able to learn a lot. For me, basically, I do not have any issue about pivot table
Okay.
because yes, since you were telling us to practice along, it was actually very clear for me. So I'll speak
Okay.
for myself. I do not have any issue with
All right. All right.
pivot table. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that. So what I will just take. Okay, someone mentioned, is it possible to calculate month on month or year on year using pivot table? Yes, you can do that. Oh, we did not look at that in the last session. So let's just look at that very quickly. I will just do month on month for us, and then we'll move on to power pivots very quickly. So let me bring up the file we used in the last session. Just kindly confirm if you can see my Excel screen. Can you see my Excel screen? Yes, 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 very quickly. All right, all right, all right. So we want to look at, let's say we want to look at months or months. Yeah, as Esther said, month on month based on our revenue. How are we doing based on month on month? Okay, for January, let's benchmark it with okay March for February. So what is there an increase in our revenue or is there a reduction in our revenue? And what is the percentage? That will give us overview of oh, are we doing well or not? So let me just copy from my sheet here. The same thing, let me just copy from here, Control C and Control V. So Control V and Control C. So I want to check month and revenue. So what's just a quick one, what column what column will give me the month? Anybody want to help me with that? What column among all these our feeds here? What which among the feed will give me a month? Yes, a month. I want to check months based on revenue. Okay, someone said date. Do I have date here? Order number. Okay, date. Yes, I have dates. Yes, I have dates. So I click on dates and I click on revenue. Click on revenue. So do we have the same thing I have on my screen? For those using Office 365, it will be grouped. And for those of us not using Office 365, you may have another different thing entirely. Okay, let me just confirm. Do we have the same thing I have on my screen? Like grouping it to 2020, 2003 and 2004. Yes, 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 yes in the charts. No, if you don't have it. Okay, no, no, no. All right, all right. Okay, so let me try out something. So is this what we have currently from our end? I just want to know, is this what we have from our end? Like just showing the dates for you. Is this what we have from our end? Sorry, can we still hear me? Okay, you had the initial grouped one. Okay, that's fine. I should zoom my screen. Okay. Is it fine now? Is it fine now? Let's be fast with it. I just want to check something. Okay, I even have 2005. Okay, so just to check something. Okay. Quarter four. Why do we have a quarter four? All right. So are we still with me? So I was just looking through because I noticed we have 2003 down to what do we call it? Down to 2005 in our data, but I'm having 2003 and 2004. So there was a slicer on that. Okay, can I repeat the process? All right, so let me just go to this and let me bring up the pivot table again. So it's simple, just your insert pivot table, and let me have it on a new worksheet. So I want to look at month and revenue. So we want to check our month on month performance. How are we doing based on month on month? Someone suggested that we look at that. Someone suggested that we look at that. So that's what we want to look. And I asked that, okay, if I want to get my month, what feed or what column will give me that? And we all suggested date. So I click on date and I click on revenue. And I said that some of us, we may not have what I have on my screen. So let me just format this very quickly. Control 1, currency. Okay, 2 is fine. All right. So I said, is it from my end? So just to confirm, can we hear me, please? If you can hear me, yes, 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 and see my screen in the chats. Okay, Onyechi, you may want to check your network. So for some of us, we may not have what we have that is grouped here. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in the year, but in the month. I want to see the month on month performance based on our revenue. So what you just do, if you notice, when you click on your date, it will give you revenue. It will give you month, quarter, and year. So I'm not interested in the quarter, because if I expand this, it will give you quarter one, quarter two down to quarter four, and you expand your quarter one, it will give you January down to March. So that's not what I'm interested in. I want to see only month. So I check in my quarter, I remove that, I remove the year, and I also remove the date I checked, and I have my month here. Is that clear? Yes, yes, yes in the chat. Is that clear? Is that clear? Yes, 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 yes in the chat. Is that clear? Is that clear? Is that clear? All right, all right. Thank you very much. So I want to bring in um another column which is also revenue, so we can see what, how will I call it, so we can see the change in percentage. I don't want to do it on this particular revenue, so I want to do it in another column. The month option is not on my pivot feed. That was the reason why I asked that, is are we having the same thing, and you people did not see anything. So this is just a recap of what we done last class, and just giving us addition something, because today we should look at entirely different thing. So I will just do that again for us. So let me click on dates. That was the reason why I asked. So I know majority of us will not have this. So we are, is this what we have from our hand? Idaya, is that what you have from your hand? Ifi, is this what you have from your hand? Yes, yes, yes. So I know. You are now answering me again. Okay, so for those that have this, so what you just do, right click on this, right click, right click, and you see group. You will see group. Click on group. So it will bring a dialog box for you. So it will ask you, what do you want to group it on? So I want to group it in months. I want to group it in months. So you can see different options. You see seconds, minutes, down to years. But I want to group it by months. So I click on OK. So and I have this. I hope that is clear. I hope that is clear. All right, so I move on. So I said I don't want to use this particular column. So I'll just drag in my revenue again to the values feed. So it's duplicate it for me, and I will use this particular column to actually check the performance on month on month. So how do we check that? So everybody, let's right click. So when you right click, you will see in the last session we look at the summarized value by, where we look at the sum and average, and I told us to look at other different options that we have there. So but this time around we want to see show value as. We want to look at show value as. So if you can see, we are currently on no calculation, and you have a whole lot of options. You can see, you can check percentage of grand total. Like, okay, I want to check the for April, I want to check what's the percentage of the grand total, what's the percentage of April revenue to the grand total that we have. You will see percentage of column total, row total, and the likes. But what I'm interested in is percentage difference from, because we want to check the performance based on months. Okay, when we get to February, what is our performance based on what we achieved in January? So that is what we want to look at. So everybody, let's click on percentage difference from. And it will give you this dialog box. So if you have this dialog box, kindly type yes in the chat. Kindly type yes, yes in the chat. If you have that dialog box, kindly type yes in the chat. Kindly type yes in the chat. Kindly type yes, yes, yes in the chat. If we are on the same page, if you have this dialog box, kindly type yes, yes in the chat. I can only see two people. Is it just two people following in this session? please let's do well to check our network. I've repeated these things twice now and we keep dragging me back. So I will just start afresh now. I will start from the beginning. So please and please let's pay attention. The reason why this is one of the reasons we don't want to share files before the session, and you can see that it is actually playing. You can see it is actually playing because we are not paying attention. We are all focused on our screen. Just get it first on my screen before you do it on your screen, because if you don't get it from my screen, there's no how you get it from your screen. Just look at, okay, how did I do it, and you replicate that on your screen. So please, I will start from the beginning and I will explain it for us for the last time. So let me just uncheck all these boxes out of this. So I have a blank pivot table. I have a blank pivot table. So we want to look at month-on-month performance based on our revenue. So I click on dates based on what we said, that is where I can get my date for my month from. I click on date. Okay, so let me just group this back. Let me group this back based on years. So, and I have my revenue there. So for some of us will have this, and I know majority of us will have this, which is the ungrouped one, listing the date one by one, listing the date one by one, listing the date one by one. So when I said for you to get your month, you right click. So when you right click, you will see an option for group. Click on group and it will bring a dialog box for you where you have different options of grouping. So we have seconds down to years, but what we are interested in is months. We want to see our month-on-month performance. So when you click on months, you click on your OK. So and you have this. Are we on the same page? Yes, no in the chat. Yes, no in the chat. Very quickly, yes, no in the chat. All right, all right, all right. Thank you for the feedback. So, and I said earlier that I want us to see the sum of revenue. I want us to see the revenue. And I also want us to see the percentage beside it. I don't want us to perform it on this aspect of this revenue. So how do I bring in another revenue? So how do you bring in another revenue? Because when you come here to check, you will uncheck it, which is not what that's not what we want. So what you just do is just drag your revenue to your values feed, to your values bucket. Drag the revenue to your values bucket, so it will bring in another revenue for you. So you will see sum of revenue too. So this is what I want to achieve. So I want the revenue, the sum of revenue to be here, and also I want to see the percentage, the performance, the difference. Okay, for January and for February, what is there any percent? Is there an increase or a decrease based on what we have in January? All right. So how do we achieve that? Right click and you will see show value as, show value as, show value as. I said earlier that we have different options there. So, and the option we are interested in is the percentage difference. If you see, if you read what the percentage difference is talking about, display a value as a percentage of the difference from the value of the base item in the base feed. So you will understand when you click on it. So everybody, let's click on the percentage difference from, the percentage difference from. So it will give you dialog box. So it will give you this dialog box. Do you have this dialog box now? Yes, yes in the chat. Yes in the chat. Yes in the chat. All right, all right. So if you see my own base item here, if you see my base item here, it is on April. So what do you have your own on? What do you have your own? What is here? My own is April here. So what is your own there? Yours is also on April. Okay, I can see March. Any other person? April, March, April. Okay, so the reason why you are having April here is because your cursor is on April. That is why I'm having April here. But I don't want to benchmark my percentage difference on April. So I want to see, okay, when I'm in February, I want to see the percentage, is there an increase or decrease based on January revenue. When I'm in March, I want to compare it with February revenue. So what we are interested in is when you click the drop down of the base item. So don't forget this base feed is right. We are interested in months. So but for the base item, I'm not interested in each month. I'm not interested in a particular month, rather. I want to see, okay, when I'm in December, I want to see the performance based on November. So that's what I want to see. So out of this option, what do you think I will click, or what do you think I will choose? What do you think I will choose? Anybody, any suggestion? Okay, previous. Any contrary answer? Any contrary opinion? Previous. Okay, brilliant. So that's just what you will choose. So because you want to see when you are in a particular month, you want to see the performance of based on the previous month. So everybody, let's click on previous. Let's click on previous. Let's click on previous and click on OK. And click on OK. And click on OK. Let's click on previous and click on OK. So do we have what I have on my screen? Yes. Do you have what I have on my screen? Yes. So you can see it give us the percentage. So if you look at for February revenue, based comparing it with January revenue, you will see that there is an increase which is 4.47%. If you look for March, based comparing it with February, we went to negative, which is minus 20.69 percentage. So this will actually help you to see how the business is behaving. So you can see that this is the summation of all the years from 2003 down to 2005. So if you want to now drill it down to each year, you can bring in your slicer. So let me just bring in my slicer over here. Let me bring in my slicer and let's slice it based on year, and let's slice it based on here. So let me click on date and let me see what it will give to me. So let me ungroup this. Is there a way to do that from here? Okay, I'm coming. Sorry, I think because I've ungrouped it. Okay, more tables. Let me see if I have yes here. Okay, I think I already ungroup it. That is why I'm not having it. So but when you click on your slicer where you have your year, okay, probably in when we do PowerPoint, but I will show us, you should bring year for me, but I'm only seeing month. It's because I have ungrouped already. That's why I'm not having the year. So you can always slice it down to years and see based, okay, for this particular year, for 2003, how is the business growing based on months. So you can see the percentage difference. So for February, we had increase. For March, decrease. April, decrease. You can see, okay, you will not look into it. What is it that we are not doing right? This will actually give you, okay, overview of, oh, this particular month we are always doing well. Okay, this particular month we are not doing well. Okay, what do we need to do to actually do well in those months that we are not doing well? I hope that is clear, and I hope that answered your question, Esther. Okay, a very good question. Why is January month empty? Who can help me with that? Anybody want to help me with that? Someone asked a question in the chat. Why is the January month empty? Okay, let me quickly give Michael the mic to tell us why January is empty. All right, Michael, you have the mic. Hi, Michael.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, January is actually empty because that is the big month that we're able to compare months, and which happens to be the first month. But even we are comparing January with December, it is the empty. But being that January is the big month year in this case, and it's the first, that's what I think.
Mm. No. That is not it. We are not basing it on January. All right, but thank you very much for that. So the reason why January is empty is because there is no previous month before January. We chose base item, we chose previous, and we do not choose any month. We do not choose January or neither or December or any month. We chose previous. So this is February is looking at January, March is looking at February, but January here is not seeing anybody. January is not seeing anybody. That is why it is empty. That is why it is empty. If I drill it, okay, let me just do something here quickly for us. Let me copy this. Let me just copy. I just want to copy something. I want to copy one pivot table. Let me copy one pivot. Okay, I don't want it to drill down. So I'm coming. So let me just click on this and bring it here. Control V. So, but what I'm interested in, I'm not interested in, let me check something for dates. I want it to be grouped. Just quick something. I want to check something based on years down there. Let me see. So this is not actually giving me, it's not giving me the correct thing. So let me see something. I just want to clarify something for us. So we have this. So percentage difference. So, but this is still based on month. But I just want to show something. Let me see if it's percentage difference previous and yeah, okay. Let me base it on year. Okay, this is actually giving me only year. So we can see. Just look at it. Just look at this. If you see that we don't have anything for 2003 because my base item is on year and not month again, so it will not give me anything for 2003 because there is no 2002, there is no 2001, we only have 2003. So 2003 is not seeing anybody. But if you come down to 2004, 2004 can actually see 2003. So it will now be giving you based on, okay, January, what's the increase based on the January of 2023. So you can see that we have 78.8 percentage. You will look at for February the same thing, for March the same thing. So if you look at it, even if you calculate it manually, like that's your current minus previous over previous times 100 over 1, or your current over previous minus 1, it will give you this percentage. So the reason why for this, the reason why, okay, let me just do Control Z very quickly so I can go back to the main one I have here. So the reason why we did not have any figure for January is because there is no month that January wants to look at. There is no month in front of January that January can look at. That's why we have empty. I hope that is clear. I hope that is clear. Okay, thank you. So very quickly, let's move on to, so I did the year on year and also the month on month. So that's just it. So let's just move on to what we have for today. That's the pivot and power pivots. So that's for power pivots. So everybody, you should have, let's open our file. So when you have it open, type open in the chat. When you have this file open, type open in the chat. 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 Where do you get the file? It was shared on Discord channel, so please go to the Discord channel and look for it. All right. So let me increase so we can see it very well. So before we move on, so someone may want to ask, why do we need to know power pivot again? We know pivot table already. So why do I need to know power pivot again? It is not the same thing. It's a different data set that was shared. So why do I need to know power pivots? So let me now explain it to us. In the last session, I mentioned it, probably we've forgotten, that pivot table is one of the ways, or yes, one of the ways we do reporting in Excel, but it has limitation. It has limitation. And what is the limitation of pivot table? It is that pivot table, one of the limitation is that pivot table can only analyze can only do reporting on just one big table. Just one big table. So if I go back to the data we used in the last session, you can see that we all have all our data. They are just in one table. They are just in one table. So pivot table can only analyze from this kind of data. But when you have different tables, and in an ideal setting, in an ideal organization, you should not have your data in just one table. You should normalize your data. Like if you can see, if you see in this data, the data set we used last week, we're having our products information, we have our customer information, we have our location information in the same table, in that one big table, which is not ideal. You should have a different table for your products, you should have a different table for your customer, you should have a different table for your location. So, and you should be able to do reporting on that. But when you have more than one table, you cannot use pivot table for it. And that is where power pivot comes in. That is where power pivot comes in. What do we mean by, what do we understand by power? But before I even explain or talk about it, has anyone used power pivot before? If you have used power pivot before, kindly type yes in the chat. If you have used power pivot before, yes, yes, yes. Okay, or let's do it. Yes, yes, yes in the chat. Yes, yes, yes in the chat. If you have used power pivot before, if you have used power pivot before, yes, yes, yes in the chat. Anybody used power pivot before? So no one. Okay, no, no. If you have not used it, you can type no. If you have used it, type yes. If you have used it, type yes. If you have not used power pivot before, interesting. Okay, no, no. Wow, wow, wow. All right, all right. Okay, I can see only just one person that have used power pivot before. That's Tochuku. All right, that's fine. I can see that majority, we are yet to use power pivot. So that is why we are taking this session. So as I said earlier, that power pivot came into play to address the limitation that pivot table has. So pivot table, as I explained earlier, that it can only summarize your data, it can only do reporting on just one big table. But in an ideal organization, you should have different table for different category. For your products, should be in the different table. For your what do we call it? For your location, customer, and the likes. So be on, and you have a table called the fact table, where and okay, let me just let me break it down for us this way, so we don't get it complicated. So for you to use pivot and power pivot, you need to have a fact table and a dimension table. A fact table and a dimension table. So that I will break it down for us. So what do we mean by a fact table? Fact table is the table that you record the key metrics of the business. So let me go to the file for today, the key metrics of the business. So if you come, you can see here, orders here is serving as our fact table. So it helps you record the key metrics of your business. Okay, and what are the key metrics of the business? You look at your revenue, your sales, your quantity, okay, your profit. Those are the things that you will have on your fact table. Those are the things that you will have on your fact table. You can see that we have different, okay, you can see we have order dates, ship date, ship mode, customer ID, location ID, product ID, and the likes. So that's just the definition of fact, F-A-C-T, 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 fact table. So, and what do we mean by dimension table? Your dimension table is just as if where you have a table. Let's say, for example, I have this fact table now, and I'm seeing location ID just like a lookup table. Let me just put it that way. Your dimension table is just like your lookup table. Okay, for location ID, I want to know more about this location. Okay, in this particular location ID that we have, or this fact table, where is it? Is it in a city? Which city do we have it, which state do we have it, which country do we have it. So dimension table give context to what you have on your fact table. If you want to know more about your this product ID, if you want to know the product name, if you want to know the product line, if you want to know the product type, you go to your product dimension table. So dimension table give context to what you have in your fact table. So it give you more explanation on those things you have on your fact table. So if you can see here, we have the location dimension table where you have the country, the city, the state, the postal code, and the region. And you also have the product table the product dimension table where you have the product, the category, the subcategory, and the product name. And for customer, you have the customer name and the customer segment. Is that clear? Yes, 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 yes. Is that clear to us? Yes, yes, in the chat. All right, all right. Thank you, everyone. So I know majority of us, we don't, since we are yet to use pivot, power pivot before, we will not have this, in our Excel. Or let me just ask, how many of us do we have pivot table? If you have pivot table, I said pivot table, sorry, power pivot rather. If you have power pivots, I don't know what I'm saying, pivot table. If you have power pivots in your Excel, kindly type yes. If you don't have, type no. So I know, no, okay, yes, yes, yeah. So we have it and we are here to use it. We just put it there as okay, just be there. All right, for those that don't have it, what I will just do, I will remove mine very quickly. I will remove mine very quickly and show us how we can bring it up. How we can bring it up. So let me just remove mine very quickly. So I don't have power pivots. I don't have power pivots in my Excel again. So there are two ways you can bring your power pivot in. I zoom it already. So there are two ways you can bring it in. There are two ways you can bring in your power pivot into your Excel because it's also a tool in Excel. So what you just do, come to your file. Everybody, for those that don't have it, come to file. Come to file. When you come to file, come to options. Come to options. So you will see Excel options, you see general formulas and the likes. But what we are interested in is the add-ins. Add-ins. What we are interested in is the add-ins. The add-ins. So click on add-ins. So it will bring something on manage for you. So it's at default you have Excel add-ins, but that's not what we are interested in. So click on the drop down, you will see come add-ins. Come add-ins. So click on come add-ins. Click on come add-ins and click on go. And click on go. So you have, I think we have four options here. So depending on what you want and depending on what you've checked earlier. So but what we are interested in today's session is Microsoft Power Pivot for Excel. Microsoft Power Pivot for Excel. So if you check it, check this and click on OK. Check this and click on OK. So if you have it now, kindly type yes in the chat. If you have it now, for those that don't have it earlier, if you have it now, kindly type yes in the chat. Yes, yes, yes in the chat. Kindly type yes, yes, yes in the chat. All right, all right. So let me just click my own also. Let me check the box. So when I click on OK, so you can see that Power Pivot is back in my Excel. So everybody, let's click on Power Pivot. Let's click on Power Pivots. You'll see different options. You have manage, you have measure, you have KPIs, you have add to data model, you have dictate, and you have settings. Are we on the same page? If you're on the same page, kindly type yes. Yes, 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 yes in the chat. If we are on the same page, just to get, yeah, okay, all right. Thank you very much. I can see that majority are following. So we want to add this to our data model. Okay, I did not explain further. So the major thing we use Power Pivot to do is to create relationship between those tables. You know, we have 4 tables here. We have 4 tables here. We have orders, we have location, we have products, we have customer. Unlike pivot table, like that, we just have just one big table and we start reporting. But for what Power Pivot will help us to do, since we have more than one table, it will help us create relationship between your tables. Because if you don't have relationship between your tables, you will not able to carry out analysis from those different tables. So it will help you to create connection. It will help you to create relationship between those tables. So when we go into it fully, you will get to know that. And we have a language. Power Pivot have a language. Can anyone tell me that Power Pivot? Yes, it is used for data modeling. Yes, interesting. Yes. Idaya, that's just it. You use it for modeling your data. You use it for modeling your data. We just want to give us overview of what data modeling is all about in Microsoft Excel class. But when you get to Power BI class, the facilitator will go deep in, okay, they will go deep and explaining what should be. And I explained it earlier, but I did not take us through it because I already splitted my own tables. So for your Power BI class, the facilitator will have a big table and break it down to facts table and your dimension table to explain. He or she will explain the process for you. But we just want us to have an idea, okay, that when you have more than one table, you can also do reporting. It's just using Power Pivot to create relationship between those tables. So I hope that is clear. So as I asked the question that Power Pivots as a language. Do we have anyone that know that? Machine language. Okay. Any other person? Any idea? Any idea? Any idea? Ayoreoluwa, I can't seem to understand you. So let me just give you my very quickly. Can you raise your hand, Oreoluwa, so I can give you and address your issue very quickly? We don't have much time. Oreoluwa, kindly raise your hand so I can listen to what you are facing. Okay, you have the mic. Kindly go on, please.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. It's
Morning.
about the power pivot. It's not on
Okay.
my system. It's not on my Excel.
Did you follow the process when I was showing how
Yes,
to
I'm
go
only
about
seeing
it?
Microsoft. Yes, I'm only seeing Microsoft Data Streamer and Microsoft Power Map.
What version of Excel are you using?
I'm using 2019.
2019. Then you should have it. You should have Power Pivot.
You know what's going-
Okay, come to your data tab here. Come to your data tab. Do you see something like manage data model here?
Manage
Data model
model.
on your data
Yes,
tab. Do
yes,
you see that?
yes,
So that's the second way of getting
yes.
it. So
Okay,
when we go to data model, you click on manage data. Just click on manage data model. So it will bring it up. So it will bring up a dialog box for you. Click on it.
okay.
So do you have Power Pivot now?
Oh, it's not working.
Can you share your screen, please?
I'm on my phone. I'm not on Discord on my laptop.
That's the issue. There's no how I can address that. If you're on your laptop, if you can switch your laptop, probably I can still bring you up. So you can share your screen and we look at it. But when you click on manage data model, it will bring a dialog box for you. So let me
Okay,
just do that. Let me just do that very quickly. So
okay,
let me off this my own. Let me off this
okay,
my own. So come headings. Let me uncheck this and show us the second way. So when I click on manage data model, so it will bring this dialog box, enable the data analysis, add in to use this feature, and I click on enable. So and I have my Power Pivot there back. So do you have that? So it will
okay.
take me it will
I'm
take
going to
me
try
to
it. I'm
Power
going to try it
Pivot.
and get back to
Okay, so okay, just do that. So
you, sir. Thank you, sir.
welcome. So I asked what's the formula language for Power Pivots. I can see different thing a kind of library, DAX, SQL, VBA. Interesting. SQL. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So the formula language for Power Pivot is DAX. DAX, and DAX stands for Data Analysis Expression. Data Analysis Expression. We will just write one or two DAX here, and you will look your Power BI facilitator will take you more on DAX when you get to Power BI. But so we just do freestyle in Excel class. So everybody, we want to add this data. We want to add our tables to Power Pivot. That's the model. So everybody, just click anywhere in your data. Just click anywhere in your data and click on Power Pivots. So you click on Add to Data Model. So it will take you to the Power Pivot interface. To take you to the Power Pivot interface. So you can see I already have customer here. I already have customer table here. So I already have customer table here. So I go back to my Excel. Where are you lost now? I've not done something strange if you have been following. So what I did was, okay, come to my table here where you have the file that was shared today. Click on anywhere, any table, and okay, I've done for customer. I come to product, click on anywhere on your product table, and come to your Power Pivot tab. Come to your my network is shaking. Can anyone confirm that? Is my network shaking? Yes, no, yes, no. How to? Okay, my network, you may want to check your network. So Blessing, I've explained about how to add pivot table by Power Pivot more than twice now. So you may want to check the recording. So because our time is fast spent. So you will see Power Pivots. When you click on anywhere, you can see Power Pivots, and you add to data model. It will add the table to data model for you. To add it to data model for you. So you can see I have product now. So let's do the same thing for the other two tables. So I do for location, add to data model. Okay, still doing something. Okay. So add to data model, add my location to data model. So, and the last one, which is the orders table. The orders table. So the orders table, I click add to data model. All right. So if you have all your tables, if you have all your tables in if you have your table in the Power Pivot, kindly type yes, 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 yes in the chat. Yes, there are some of us that when you click it once, when you click add to data model, it will bring all the tables for you. But sometimes it will tell you to add it one by one. Okay, okay, okay. All right, all right. Thank you, everyone. So I can see that most of us are actually following. All right. So if you see under the home tab here, under the home tab here, under the home tab here, you have different options from you can actually bring in if you have any other data you want to bring in, you can bring in from your database, from your other data service. Here you can bring in your CSV. So from your data service, that's your online service, probably web and the likes. But from other sources, your CSV, your SQL, your Excel workbook. So if you have any data you want to bring in, you can bring it in. So just we are not bringing in any data. We have all our data. We have all our tables here in the Power Pivots interface. So if you see here, you have the data view, you have the diagram view. So we are currently on the data view. If you see that, you will notice that the data view is checked. The data view is checked. But when you click on the diagram view, everybody, let's click on diagram view and see what we have. Click on the diagram view, so you will see your tables. You'll see your tables. So do we have this? Do we have the same thing I have on my screen? Yes, 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 yes. So I know we are following. So I know we are following. Do we have the same thing I have on my screen? when you click on the diagram view, you have just one. What table do you have? Kirabo, what table do you have? That was the reason you have three. So that was, you may want to check, you may want to scroll right or left to check if there are other tables hanging, if there are other tables hanging. So if you check your right to your left and if you do not see any other table hanging, so you want to go back to your main file and go to the tables that you don't have and add it to the data model. So you can scroll right or left. Okay, you now have four. So scroll right or left, you will see all your tables. I hope that is clear. I hope that is clear. Yes, 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 before we move on. Okay, all right, thank you. So we want to create a relationship. We want to create a relationship. And I mentioned earlier that your others tables is the fact table where you record the key metrics of your business. So I'm not going to be taking us through the what data model is in fully. Yes, it looks like Power BI. Yes, it's just like Power BI. We have data modeling also in Power BI. So when you get to the Power BI session, the tutor will take you through it, yeah, in depth. So that's what I said earlier. Please, let's do well to always listen very well. So when I started bringing in my table into Power Pivot, I did it one by one. When I go to my others table, I add it to data model. I go to my product table, add it to data model. Go to my location table, add it to data model. That's the issue you are having, Kirabo. So Kirabo, go to your order, the other table that you have, the other table that you have, and add it to data model, and add it to data model. Go there and add it to data model. Go there and add it to data model. So when you go there, you will have it. So for those that cannot, I've zoomed now. So I think this should be clear enough for us. This should be clear enough for us now. So I said earlier that yes, you need to break your table into fact and dimension tables. So in this scenario, our order table is our fact table, while customer, product, and location are our dimension table. Our dimension table. Our dimension table. So how do we create this relationship? How do we create this relationship? I don't seem to understand what you are saying, Tonto. So there is something you've tampered with. You've tampered with the data set that was shared. You've tampered with data set that was shared. Can you share your screen so I can look at it very quickly? Can you share your screen, Tontoso? Yes, no, in the chat very quickly. Okay, so just raise your hand so I can give you access. Raise your hand so I can give you access. Raise your hand so I can give you access very quickly. All right, you should have access now. So you see, look at, I don't need your Excel something now. Just wait. Just click, look at your left hand side at the upper. You will see Excel icon. Just click on Excel icon so it take you back to your Excel sheet. At the upper left, you see Excel icon, you see save icon there. Yes, just click on it. It take you back to your Excel workbook. So you have your orders table, location table, product table, customer table. So where do you see table 5? So go back to manage. Click on manage. Manage. Please be fast. Manage. So click on that table 5, and delete it, please. Delete it. Press delete on your keyboard. Yes, delete from data model, from model. So you have product, order, and location. So what you don't have here is what? Um, that's customer. So go back to your workbook. So click on your customer table. So you can see, you see what I said. I know you did something wrong. You can see this column 1 here. That's what it is referencing. So delete that. All right, so click on where you have the data and add to data model. Already be added to your data model. So scroll right and left and let's see if there's any table there. Go back to your Power Pivot. Manage. When you want to do anything else, you go to manage. So scroll to right or left. Scroll to right or left and see if you have any table there. That's the table over there. That's it there. So you can stop sharing your screen. I think we're on the same page. So let me share my screen. Welcome. All right, I think we are taking too much of things. So let's just go on 5 minutes break. So let's go on 5 minutes break. So after 5 minutes, we come back. So by 11:22, we should be back. I hope that is fine. All right, so kindly type back if you are back from the short break. Back in the chat if you are back from the short break. Let's type back if you are back from the short break. All right. Thank you for the feedback. So we don't have much time left. So it's almost 12 o'clock, and 12 o'clock we should end our session. So, and there are a lot of information I need to pass to us. All right. Thank you everyone for the feedback. So for those of you that don't have all the tables in the Power Pivot interface, it is two things. It's either the tables are hiding. So what you need to do is scroll your right, your left, and check if you have it. If you have it there, and if you don't still have it, go to your main data and go and add that table that you don't have into your data model. So what issue do you have? This is what I have now. I have an observation. Okay. So, okay, Babs, you said this is what you have now. So what you have, so just come to your diagram view. You are currently in your data view. So come to this side of your table here, you will see diagram view. So click on diagram view, and you would have this I have on my screen. Is have on my screen. So I think Tochuku said he has an observation. So very quickly, so let me just give you, let me listen to your observation very quickly. So you have the mic.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good. Okay. I observed that in the dimension tables, there are
Okay.
duplicates there, and is affecting because of that we can't create relationships with the
Mm-hmm.
fact
Mm-hmm.
table.
Mm-hmm. I'm
I
coming
don't
there.
know.
Yeah, I'm coming there. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for that. All right. Thank you for even bringing that up. I'm actually coming there. So for all right, okay, that's fine. So for you to create relationship between your fact table and your dimensions table, so for your fact table and your dimension table, your dimension table should not have duplicate. Your dimension table should not have duplicate. It should be unique. Everything you have should that you should have in your dimension table should be unique. So because if, okay, let's say for example, the between product and orders table, we have what is the common column there? We have product ID. So if I drag product ID down to this place, it will be telling me that the relationship the relationship cannot be created because each columns contain duplicate values, because you're having duplicate values in your products dimension table. But for your orders table, that's your fact table, you can always have duplicates because it's record the daily transaction, the key metrics of your business, and you need to do business every day. So what I need to do now is close this tab and come to each of my dimension table. This is the unique identifier. Location ID is the unique identifier for the location table. I click on it and go to my data tab. We know how to remove duplicates. I want to have zoomed my screen. So I don't want I am removing duplicates. It should not be new to us. You go to your data tab and you click on, you will see remove duplicates. So it will ask you from which one do you want to remove duplicate. You want to remove it from everything. So when I click OK, so you can see it's removed 9,362 duplicate values for me. I click on OK. I do the same thing for products. I do the same thing for products. I click OK. I do the same thing for customer. I do the same thing for customer. All right. So do we have we removed the duplicates? So if you are done, kindly type done in the chat. 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 Okay, okay. Just when you are done, just type done. When you are done, just type done. Okay, so what I'll just do. Yeah, you are right. Just remove duplicates. Just remove duplicate. Just remove duplicates. Just remove duplicates. So we need to add it back. We need to add it back after removing duplicates. So we need to add our table back. So add our table back. Add to data model. Add to data model. So just delete all the tables you have there on the Power Pivot feed interface and add it back again. So you add it back again. This one is still adding. Okay, I think it's done adding. So let's do it back. Let's add it back. We should have removed the duplicate before coming to it. So I come to my product table. What's happening? So my products add to data model. Okay, still loading. Why is it still loading there? Okay, I have my orders table. I have my location table. So go to my product table, add to data model. So I believe we are also doing that from our end. All right, I will attend to you. Just wait. I will attend to you. So customer add to data model. Okay, still loading it for me from that end. Yeah, we should have used I think someone suggested use refresh instead of adding back. Yes, you are right. But sometimes it may not work. So the best option, if refresh worked for you, it's fine. If refresh worked for you, it's fine. But not in all situations. So just go there, add it back. But sometimes, yeah, it's refresh may work for you. So does refresh work for you? So the person that suggested, can we just use just refresh instead of adding back? Did you try refresh and it worked? I think someone said that we can just refresh instead of adding back. I just want to ask, does that work for you? Did it work for you? Okay, I think the person is not here. Okay, so let's just move on. So if you have all your tables back in your Power Pivot view, okay, it worked. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. All right, it's fine. Okay, refresh worked. Okay. Yeah, for you to know it worked, just come under each any of the table. Before we have over 9,000. We have over 9,000. What do we call it? 9,000 rows. But if you come down here, you will see one of 793. So for customer table, you only have 793. Only have 793 rows now. So okay, I try refresh. It created relationship, but still gave the same error about duplicates. Okay. All right. We would work on that. We'll work on that. So that's why I suggested probably adding it back would be better. So let's just move on. So we have our table now. So let's go to diagram view. Diagram view. So I bring in my orders table down. So let me just zoom in so we can see it very well. So I want to create relationship very quickly. So I want to create relationship between my location and my orders table. So what is the common column there? Okay, it's created relationship after refreshing. That is fine. So let me show others how to create it manually. Yeah, because sometimes it may not create the right relationship for you. So that's why you need to also check, is this what you want to create relationship on between those tables? So if it is right, you leave it, and if it's not right, you delete the relationship, and you had the right one. So for location and orders table, which one is the common column there? What's the common column there? Location ID. All right, thank you. So what you just do, you click on your location ID and drag it. You will see a line, and drag it to the location ID on your orders table. So let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. So the same thing for product table. You have your product ID, which is the common one. So you drag. So for product ID, it's drag it there. So this is telling me it still contain duplicates. Select one. So my product table is still contain duplicates. So let me just check my data view and see my product table. Product table does not contain duplicate. This is 1000 something. I think something is wrong. So what could be wrong? What could be wrong? Product ID, still the same thing. Okay, I'll come back to that. Let me check customer ID. Okay, customer ID work. So I don't know why it is not working. So let me refresh and let me see. Refresh in progress. So I want to see something done. So what's not the issue? Close. So let me try it again and let me see. So if it does not work, so let me delete it and bring it back to my table. So I don't know why it's not working, because I already removed duplicates from it. Or let me try the duplicate again. Where's my data tab? Remove duplicates. Yeah, no duplicate found. No duplicate found. So let me add it to my data model back. So what's not working for you? Okay, your two worked. Okay, so there are sometimes these are tools, they may misbehave sometimes. So let me check now if it is working. Product ID is still not working. What is wrong? Oh, there is no duplicate here. Okay. So if your own worked from your end, kindly type yes in the chat so I know. I don't know why it's telling me it's not working, but it should work. Duplicate. So okay, let me see my table again. Okay, if it worked from your end, kindly type yes in the chat. Type yes in the chat. So let me check the total rows here that I have. Okay, this is 1894. So no duplicate, but it's not working. If you were able to create the relationship, type yes. That's what I'm asking for. I'm not asking if it's telling you not duplicate or not. Okay, so let me just go back to the view tab there. So I will try it for the last time, bring in the table again, and if it's still the same thing, probably I will just walk. Okay, I think it is not saving. Let me see something. So let me add it back. Power pivots, add to data model, and let me see if it is working now. Okay, so let me try it out. Product ID, still not working. Still not working. Okay, so what I will just do is I will close the file. So let me just close the file entirely. So let me close the file entirely and let me reopen it. And let me see if it will work or not. Let me see if it will work or not. Because we already removed duplicate, so I don't know why it's still telling us duplicate. So power pivots, add to data model. Let me see. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. So let me see the table view, diagram view. Okay, still the same thing. So let me see product ID, still not working. Okay. So let me just bring in a new fresh file. Let me bring in a new fresh file other than this, the one I just modified. Let me bring in a new fresh file. I'm coming, just a second. I don't know why it's showing that, but it should not show that. Okay, so this is a new fresh file. Yeah. This is a new fresh file here. So this is a new fresh file here. So let me just try it out with this and let me see if it will work. So let me see if it will work from my hand here. So I don't know why it's not working. So I will not know if it is the remove duplicates of here. So probably we may just want to try out using Power Query, but it should work. So let me try it from my hand. So let me remove duplicates from here. So data, remove duplicates. Okay. So product, remove duplicates. So for customer, remove duplicates. All right, so let me now add it to the data model. So let me just check it now from my end if it will work. So what we want to try to do is we want to download the data, but let me just see if it is going to work from my end because I had to bring in the fresh file. Okay, just giving me one. So let me bring in another one. Others, location, add to data model. Yeah, if the product ID is unique, because we are using the product ID as the unique identifier there. So that's what you choose to connect. So there may be some product ID that may have product name that they're having probably we have one ID and product ID and they're having different product name. That doesn't affect it. So I come to my products, add to data model, and location and customer rather. Okay, this is still loading. Okay, so let me go back to this customer and no, sorry, cancel, add to data model. So I have all my tables here. So let me now go and connect the diagram and see if it will work now or not. So diagram view. So diagram view. So let me bring in my orders here and let me try it with products first and let me see. Okay, I think there is something wrong here. There is something wrong. Which let me try it customer ID. Customer ID worked. Okay. Customer order ID. You cannot create relationship between order ID, customer ID because a relationship already. Yes, thank you. I know. So location down to location. Let me see. The operation cannot be found because okay, this one is still in progress. Okay, I think this worked. So let me now see this for the last time and I will now go and check what is wrong in there. All right, so let me go to my Excel. I still tried this before coming to class. So where is the product ID? And let me see which one is duplicate there. There is no duplicate in this thing because it is telling me no duplicates. Let me check. So 1894. So why is now the duplicate there? So that's why I don't really like the option of using the remove duplicate of this. Let me check this. The remove duplicate of Excel. So I would rather take it to okay. I think there is still duplicate in there. All right. I think there is still duplicate in there. Same issue for my product ID didn't work. So let me now check. Now, let me check my pivot table and let me refresh all. Let me refresh and close. Okay, close. All right, let me try it out now. Now it worked. All right, so I figured it out already. I figured it out already. So I figured it out already. So for those having issues, so please let's listen, everybody. Please let's listen. Let's listen so I can address that. I just figured out that now. So let's go back to our product table, everybody. Please let's go back to our product table. Go back to your product table. Click on your product ID. Click on your product ID. Click on your product ID and click on remove duplicates. Click on remove duplicates. So just worked. Okay, fine. So click on remove duplicate and uncheck all these other columns. We're only interested in product ID. We only want to remove duplicate from product ID. Are we with me? I already zoomed. Oh, okay. Let me just do that again. What about now? So click on your product ID, remove duplicates, and uncheck any other column except the product ID. So when you click on product ID, when you click check on product ID, just click OK. So no duplicate found. So go back to your Power Pivot and refresh. So and refresh. So better now. So if your own is working now, just type yes, 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 yes in the chat. If it's working now, yes, 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 yes in the chat. Yes, yes, yes in the chat. All right, all right. So we can see that we are all learning. So because I tried it before coming to class, and Power Pivot want to shame me, but it's a lie. We're able to figure it out. So very quickly, we just have less than 15 minutes to go. All right. So for you to do your analysis or reporting, for the last week or what we did earlier this morning on pivot table, we clicked on dates before we can get our month, like on grouping. So for you to God no go shame us. For you to actually um to remove that, will I say, is it burden on yourself, grouping your dates to get your month, to get your year and the likes? So you need to create a calendar table. Okay, but why was the duplicate was removed from the product when we did this general removal? Yeah, it was I did a mistake earlier. It is your unique identifier. That's your product ID. Your product ID is the one that you want to use to connect to your fact table. So it should be only the one that should be unique. We should have not removed duplicate even others. But when you remove duplicate from your product ID, it will actually remove it automatically for others. So when you click on it brought that dialog box for you. Just only check your product ID, location ID, or customer ID. So when you only check that and you press OK, it will actually remove all the duplicates. Because I think someone said earlier that there are some, I think, no product ID or product name that has the same ID thereabout. So it wasn't removing it. Okay, not removed, I get. Okay. I think I'm giving you another one. So I said earlier that we want to create a calendar table so we don't have the issue of um using our dates, our order dates. This year in our orders table we have order dates. So before we probably want to create analysis based on month or year on year, we don't start grouping on grouping and the likes. So we need to create a calendar table. So and how do we create a calendar table? So you can create calendar table right from your Power Pivot here, and you can also create it in Power Query. But I'll always show us how to do that here in what do we call it, in Power Pivot. So everybody, let's come to our tab, our design tab here. Everybody, let's come to design tab. Design tab up here. Design tab. So click on design tab. Click on design tab. So you will see date table. you will see date table so click on the new. So date table and new. So it will generate a calendar table for you. So if you have your calendar table, kindly type yes, yes, yes in the chat. Yes, yes, yes in the chat. If you have your calendar table, type yes, yes, yes in the chat. So it's still loading. It will create a whole lot of things for us. Still loading. I don't know why my Excel is slow today. So if you have your calendar table, yes, in the chart, you can see without any stress, without anything, you have your date, year, month number, month, and year, days of the week, days of the week number, days of the week. So you can create this automatically in pivot table, but either in Power Query you will use your hem language and some other buttons, that's click and drop on Power Query. But when you get to Power BI, you will be using DAX. You'll be using DAX, that's data analysis expression, to create it. So we'll do some of DAX, but I'm not using DAX to create calendar table for you because we already have our calendar table. So someone said I should repeat. So please, let's do well to listen. Let's do well to listen. I will take it again. So what you need to do is come to your design tab. Come to your design tab. Are you with me, Grace? Come to your design tab here. Your design tab here. This is your design tab here. So when you come to the design tab, you will see date table here. You will see date table. You will see date table. So click on the drop down of the date table and you will see new. So click on new. It will generate your calendar table for you. It will generate your calendar table for you. It will generate your calendar table for you. So I think because of our time, I will not be able to. Okay, I may just do just one DAX for us, and I will explain the reason why we need to use DAX. So let me just quickly explain that. So the reason why we need to know about DAX or use DAX, because DAX is used for your advanced calculation. There are some advanced calculation that you want to do. Probably you want to calculate your revenue for your previous month, for your previous year. You want to do some time intelligence calculation. You cannot use it ordinary on your pivot table. Yes, because the calculation pivot table is doing for you, pivot table is doing for you is implicit measure. I don't want to really go into that, but let me just stop here. So when you go to Power BI, you get more understanding of implicit measure and explicit measure. So implicit measure are just the one Excel engine will create for you. All those ones we did during the pivot table last week. Okay, some of revenue, it was Excel engine that did the calculation for us. But if you want to do it, if you want to have power over your calculation, you can use DAX, which is the explicit measure. So you will get that in Power BI. So let me not go to that, but I just want us to have an understanding of how to create relationship between our table by doing it, yeah, by creating your data model. So if you come to your home tab back here and your diagram view, you will see that we are yet to connect to our calendar table. So what is the column I will use to connect my calendar table and my orders table? Anybody want to help me? Anybody? Orders date to my date. Brilliant. So I drag my date to my orders date and it will create the relationship for me. Date and orders date, and it will create the relationship for me. So another thing, so please let's listen very well. While I just round up. We are almost done. So if you notice that from your dimension table down to your from your dimension table down to your fact table, you will see the relationship that it creates for us here. If you see for your dimension table, it's telling you 1, and your orders table, you will see something like a star. So this is telling you that the relationship between both tables are one to many relationship. That was the reason why we need to remove duplicate from all your dimension table, because your dimension table should be unique. One information per transaction. So for your location ID, it's just one unique value for each transaction. So you can see that it has a one something here. It's telling you that the relationship between this one is one to many. If you see this star here, if you look at product ID, product table too, you see that it's the same thing. You have one here, you have many here. So this is the ideal relationship. From your dimension table down to your fact table should always be one to many relationship. So ideally one to many relationship, but there are some complex calculate them complex tables that you have that you want to do some other things regarding modeling. But ideally for your data modeling, for you creating relationship, so your dimension should always have the one side and your fact table should always have the many side. I hope that is clear. 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 Yes, 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 yes. And I show us one last thing. We take our attendance and we call it a Excel training. So we don't have quiz for today, but we have a project we need to work on. So I will just be very, very fast with that. So we've created relationship between all our tables. We've created relationship between our I will address all questions at the end of my session. So we've created relationship between our tables and the likes. We created relationship between it. So we want to start doing our reporting. How do we do our reporting? So what you do is you come to your, you will see under your home table, under your home tab here you have pivot table. You have pivot table because it's still the pivot table that we use to create our report. What we just used power pivot to do is to create relationship between our tables and also do calculation, that's DAX, and which I told us that I will not be showing us. When you get to Power BI you will learn about DAX. So you click on pivot table. So pivot table, it will ask you is it new worksheet, the same way, the same process, and you click on OK. And you click on OK. So if you come to this pivot fields here, you see that we have different tables. We have different tables. You can see we have calendar, we have customer, we have location, we have order, and we have product. So and each of the table you can actually click this drop down, you will see what you have there. For customer you see the columns you have there. For location you see the columns you have there. So you can actually start creating your reports through this. But you know, last week pivot table we only have one, we had only one table, where we have all the columns there. But here we have different tables. We now have five. Yeah, plus our calendar table. So you can start creating reports. Let's say I want to check, okay, I want to check the customer segment and the revenue. For segment, I have it under my customer table, and the revenue, okay, that's sales. I have it under my orders table, and I click on it. So you can see I start creating my reports. And after I'm done with my report, I start creating my dashboard. I hope that is clear. So I will not be creating reports for us again because we've done that in the last session. It was because of time I was not able. I had in my plan to take us through DAX, but because of our time, this is 11:56, and I have under engagement after this session, so I can't take us through that. We've not shared attendance yet, so please listen first before you start asking for attendance. We've not shared attendance yet. So any question before I bring the attendance up? Any question for relationship during visualization as we did? Yes, you for slicer is just for, okay, you want to make your dashboard or your visualization interactive. Yes, you used to slide down or drill down your data or drill down your report. So slicer is very, very important. You can't do without slicer. Yeah, we always need slicer. All right, I think it's your own issue. I will address that after the class so we don't delay others. So we can address probably at the end of the session. You can just wait. I will address that very quickly. Yes, you can remove the ground total if you want. So is it possible to have many to many relationship? That's why I said that for power pivot, creating relationship or doing your data model in power pivot is just one to many. That's just the simple aspect. Because you notice that when there was still duplicate in our product table, it was telling us that there's duplicate. But in Power BI, when you get to Power BI, you can create many to many relationship, but it is not ideal. For you to create many to many relationship, you should know what you are doing. If you have many to many relationship, do well to get over it. Just don't have many to many relationship in your data model. But some situation will warrant, probably just want to get some insight or just some report out of it. You may want to have it. But the facilitator for Power BI will do all those necessary talk. Yeah, in Power BI you have option to choose the relationship. Is it one to many? Is it many to many? But Power Pivot, we don't have the option. So when you get to Power BI, your tutor would answer that. So go to design tab. Okay, how did you go to pivot table from Power Pivot? I showed us earlier. So let me just go back there again. So please let's always listen. So you go to the home tab where you have your power pivot. You will see pivot table here. This is pivot table. Sorry. This is pivot table here. This is pivot table here. This is pivot table here. So you click on the drop down and you click on pivot table and you have it. So for those that have questions, I will just take only 2 questions so we can just take our attendance. I think I've addressed a whole lot of questions. So Abisola, okay, Abisola has okay. But before Abisola, let me give sources. Let me see what sources has to say. Hi sources. Hi sources, you have the mic.
Okay, good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much. I think where I got lost, not lost exactly, I just couldn't find it on my Excel was when you said you should create the calendar table or something.
Yeah.
So I went to design and then mark as date table, but the drop down was only showing me mark as date table and date table settings.
Not
There was no
mark, not
calendar.
mark, not mark as date table. Date table. You have mark as date table and you have date table. You don't have the when you don't have date table, what do you want to mark
I
as
can't
date
see
table?
date table here. Oh.
That's here.
I don't know if I don't have date table here.
Under design tab,
Yes.
can you share your screen?
I only have
Can you
I
share your
only have
screen?
oh
Can you share your screen?
I can't I can't
So
because my I'm using my
using my
laptop and
phone.
then I'm connected on my phone,
My phone.
yes.
How do we do
But
that
I
now?
shared a
You should you
picture.
should you should you should have date table. I don't know why you're not having date table. Ah yeah, Bisala, you may go on now. So let me see the picture she sent. Hi Abisola, you have the mic if you want to say something.
Okay, no, sorry. You can go on with the class. I'm not asking questions, sorry.
Okay. Okay, you have what version of Excel are you using? This strange. Success, what version of Excel are you using? I'm even seeing linked table. What version of Excel are you
I'm
using?
I think this is
You think you
2013.
should not think.
2013.
You should not think. You should check.
I think this is 2013.
How do you know? Can you screenshot for me?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Right. I will not show you how to do it because I think I've showed us twice. But it's
Let
strange. But it's strange. Yeah, probably I'll just probably you may do the research also why you don't have the aspect of the date table there, which is strange. But let me check again. Let me check again. Undo. So what is now what because you can't share your screen, I should just say we should just try some options there. What do you have under your link table? Is it that you have those relationship there or what?
under my link table.
Yes, I'm seeing option of link table tab there. Home design advanced link table.
Okay. Under my linked table, I have update all, update selected. I have go to Excel table. I have update mode. I have go to Excel. I have
Gosh,
Excel table order.
I may not know what to do to that though. So probably you may want just to make research about it. Check the version of Excel you are using first. So when you check the version of Excel and you
2013. I've checked.
2013. Mm.
Yes. Maybe I should
You may,
update my Excel.
yeah,
Eh?
you may want to update it. Probably 2016 or
Oh,
2019. Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
So thank you very much. So I will just So I will just go on to share the attendance for today. So before I bring up the project for us. So please
Okay,
let's scan the attendance. Let's scan the attendance very
hi,
quickly.
Pauline.
Hello.
Hello, Pauline. This is Abisola,
Okay,
CM.
okay. I know.
Yes, I dropped a message. Yes, I was hoping that you got it. So I don't know. I just want to chip in the storytelling thing I wanted to talk about. I don't know when I
Oh,
can speak. I'm just bringing it to your just to remind.
okay. Okay. So you can have it. I don't know because they'll be distracted and you need their full attention. So let me just give them some minutes to I will drop the link now to some minutes to do the attendance and after then I take it off and you inform them. I hope that's fine because there's still
Yes,
something
that's
I even want to
that's
inform. Okay, so let me
yes, that's
drop
fine.
let me drop the attendance list for them so they can have so they can mark the attendance very quickly. So I just dropped the attendance link. So please let's be fast with it because I also need to drop off and I need to inform us on our projects.